We've covered how to establish the correct gaze. Thus far, we've covered how to establish the correct focal point for the bench. We've covered. Hey there, and welcome back to another video in our series of Saturday shorts on how to fix your bench press. Thus far, we've covered how to correct your focal point in the bench press. We've also covered how to correct your bar path, and we've also covered how to correct your shoulder positioning, how to make sure that they're retracted when you bench press. Today, we're going to cover leg drive. A common problem in the bench press is not using your legs effectively, really not using your legs at all for some lifters. Now, what do I mean when I say using your legs in the bench press? With your stance at roughly about a squat width stance, it's a good place to start. You want to make sure that when you're benching, you are driving up the bench. In other words, driving with your legs in the direction of your head, as if you were trying to make yourself slide that way on the bench. Now, do you actually want to be sliding on the bench? Of course not. And generally speaking, you won't be, because you're going to have a nice heavy barbell pinning yourself to the bench. That being said, if you do have a problem, if you're effectively using your legs and you actually are sliding a little bit on your bench, if you've got kind of a slick bench, we've got a video that covers a couple easy ways to fix this, and we'll link to that video below. But getting back to the idea of leg drive, why do we want a leg drive? We want to use our legs when benching for 3 reasons. There's 3 benefits that you have when you use your legs to bench. Number 1, lateral stability. Remember, the bench itself isn't that wide, so some of the lateral stability that you get is going to come from making sure that you have your shoulder blades retracted, making sure that you have the widest possible base of support on the actual bench. But again, the bench isn't that wide, so how can we get more lateral stability? Well, remember, so that comes from our stance. So we've got roughly a squat width stance, so that gives us some lateral stability, but if your feet are just kind of hanging out there and not doing anything, they're not really helping. So you want to make sure that you're driving with your legs so that your feet are firmly planted on the ground, so you've got good lateral stability when benching. Number 2, when you're driving with your legs, when you're driving up the bench, remember that the bar is pinning your shoulders into place from the other end, and you're driving with your legs from the end of your feet. So that's going to help support your arch when you're benching as well. It's going to put you in a more effective, a stronger position for benching. And last, number 3, and this is not one we necessarily think about a whole lot, but it's real important, and you'll notice this if you ever just pick your legs up off of the ground when you're benching. But driving with your legs makes you more rigid. It kind of compresses you a little bit. Remember, on the standing lifts, such as the press or the squat or the deadlift, your shoe, your nice, rigid, non-compressible shoe, is the interface between the thing that's moving the bar, you, and the support surface, which in that case is the floor. But let's take that and apply it to the bench press, all right? You're still moving the bar. The support surface is the bench. What's in between your arms, in this case, and the bench? Well, it's your shoulders, but it's kind of your whole upper body, your whole body, if you will. And the body is rather mushy and flimsy and squishy. So you don't want to just be a pile of gelatin there laying on the bench. You want to make yourself as rigid as possible. So of course you're going to take a breath, you're going to perform your Valsalva, you're going to tighten your abs, clamp down on your midsection, but you're also going to drive with your legs. And again, the bar is pinning you into place from one end, and you're driving with your legs from the other end, and that creates a little bit of compression. It makes you more rigid so that when you're benching from a more solid base of support. So 3 benefits for driving with your legs. Drive hard with your legs when the bar is descending, and even harder, if at all possible, when it's ascending. We hope this helps you get stronger and live better.